When you are the middle child of 5 boys, you learn to blend into the wallpaper. But the summer I turned 11, I became straight up invisible. My baseball team made the regional playoffs in a town 2 hours away. We lost bad and everyone packed up, chaotic, crying, throwing gear into trunks. I went to the concession stand to wash the dirt off my face, and when I walked back out, our family minivan was gone. My parents had driven off, yet with all 4 of my brothers, they just forgot me. I sat on a green metal bench under the blazing Texas sun for 3 hours. No phone, just me and my oversized catcher's mitt. Around 7 p.m., the stadium lights flickered off. The only person left was the guy sweeping up the trash, an old gruff stadium mechanic named Artie. He wore a stained grease rag in his back pocket and reeked of cheap coffee. He walked up, looked at me, looked at the empty parking lot, and sighed. "Your folks go to Texas Roadhouse without you, kid?" He didn't call the cops. He just sat on the bench, cracked open a cold can of cream soda, handed it to me, and said, "Well, more room for us." We sat there for 2 hours. He didn't ask me about my grades or why I struck out. He just talked to me like a real person. He showed me how to smooth out the leather on my glove using oil from his toolbox. For the first time in my life, I felt like the only person in the room. My dad finally pulled up at 9:30, frantic, making excuses about a head count mix-up. Artie didn't say a word to him. He just patted my shoulder, handed me a shiny brass hex nut from his pocket, and murmured, "Keep your eye on the ball, kiddo." I kept that little brass nut on my keychain for 15 years. Last winter, my wife and I had our first son. My parents drove in, ecstatic, talking over each other like always. My dad looked at the birth certificate, frowned, and said, "Artie, where did you get a name like Artie? There's no Artie in our family tree." I looked my dad right in the eyes, completely calm, and said, "No, there isn't." He was the guy who stayed behind when the family tree drove away. The living room went dead silent. My dad looked down at his shoes, and for the first time in my life, he finally realized what he had left behind.